Yes, Chelsea fans, welcome along. Thursday night. Let's make sure that I can hear myself, so you guys can hear me. Let's just see, shall we? How are you all? How are you all doing? Daniel, good to see you in. Can I hear myself? I can. Look at that. As you all know, how are you? Good to see you as well. What? I'm on delay. I can't listen to myself echo because it just goes, I'll go crazy. I go absolutely loopy. How are you all doing? Hopefully you're all right. You're all good? Lots going on. I will be featuring and I will be checking out the scores, the latest updates, the Wales European qualifier game, the friendly international between Scotland and Poland. I will be keeping an eye on one of those. Anyway, how are you? How are you all? Been a busy day. As far as Chelsea's concerned, with it coming out this evening, gradually news is beginning to come out about how many people are accepted. There's rumours that the Rain Group has informed people today if they've been successful or not, and I have to be, I'll be pleased to say to you, Daniel, it seems as though the Ricketts are not on that list. The Ricketts family have been told their bid has not been accepted, apparently, because of what was said previously by their relative back in the day, which we're not going to get into. An article that I've just tweeted, if you follow me on Twitter, it's Chels Daft on Twitter. I've retweeted a link, and I'll tell you who just sent that link across. The link was sent over by, by Arash Masoudi, who works for the Financial Times, and he's confirmed and said this. I'll go into it in just a second. 2 front runners for Chelsea. 2 bidders that are front runners. Todd Bowley, who's the LA Dodgers owner. His consortium apparently have been whittled down. And also a guy called Josh Harris and David Blitzer, who are part of the Broughton and Sebco consortium. There's reports that Nick Candy's out. It's not confirmed. These are only reports, but it does say, and Arash Masoudi from the Financial Times says this. He does say this. He said, the Ricketts family bid has been knocked back due to renewed scrutiny of leaked documents and correspondence in which the family's patriarch wrote that the Muslims are the enemy. So he said that, and they've been knocked back. So the Ricketts family are not going to be successful, which is good. So everyone can calm down, take a deep breath. Hold on. So, one second. Apologies, I've got somebody messaging me. 1 minute, and I'll be with you. It's great, isn't it? Okay. Portugal scored against Turkey, just in case you wanted to know or not. Anyway, Moses, welcome in. Woodshedder, how are you, mate? How are you? Working late tonight, but I've got your stream on. Even if I've been ready for the pub hours. I've got one here. Cheers to you, Woodshedder. Lot Britannia, how are you? You still love us? Good. I'm glad you still love us, and we haven't done nothing to spoil that. That's the main thing. We can't spoil that, can we? Daniel doesn't really want American owners. I think they're going to be involved at some point, especially if it's the Josh Harris and David Blitzer deal. Paul, how you doing, mate? Good to see you in. Talking Chelsea. We're going to be talking lots to do with Chelsea tonight. I haven't done a video. I've been working. Been doing some training. I've got today and I've got tomorrow, and I fly to Florida. Famous FC, how you doing, mate? Everton fans in. How are you feeling right now about Mr. Lampard and about your football team? I'll be interested to know. It's a bit shocking, really, isn't it? It's not great. It's not great. So this is open to all the subscribers of my channel, not just the members. Just to get the numbers up and just get people in. But obviously the members know each other anyway. You have a good old chinwag. So Famous FC. Ryland Ricketts, Saudi gone. Exactly. The Saudis have gone. Harris Blitzer deal. They're part of the consortium with Martin Broughton and Seb Coe. But Todd Bowley, the LA Dodgers owner, apparently his bid has been approved. So they've been whittled down as the shortlist. But worrying is that Nick Candy isn't. This is a report. It's not confirmed. It's a report that the Nick Candy consortium and the other London-based consortium has not been entertained. They've not got through. But the Saudis are out, and Woody Johnson's out as well, apparently. So we still wait. You're really worried about Everton. I'm not being disrespectful here, mate, but I'll be the same. That defence is woeful, and yeah, it's a bit shocking, really. So hopefully Frank can sort it out, but I'm not surprised he's called out one or two players, and they need to respond, don't they? So the problem is these days, when it comes to management in football, you need to be as much of a man manager as well as a tactical manager, and you've got to be both. And if you struggle at one or the other, then you're going to struggle big time. So you got to be, I mean, if he loses, I mean, I love Frank Lampard to death, absolute legend, my favourite player of all time, just because of his influence, just the way he carried himself. The problem is, if he loses this dressing room as well, then that's the issue. He's lost the Chelsea dressing room back in the day. If he loses this one, maybe he's not cut out to be a manager. Maybe. I hate saying that because I love Frank Lampard, but he's got a job on at Everton, big time. And I hope you don't take any offence for me saying that. So yeah, we've got some other Chelsea news to consider as well. A certain quote by a Real Madrid player who turns around and said, nobody wanted to draw Chelsea in the Champions League, which I thought was it's quite nice. Made my day. Oh, dearie me. With no score yet in the Wales game, 20 minutes in. Wood said it's getting pretty stoked on the Candy and Catalina bid, not upset the SBG and Ricketts have gone. Again, that is reports at the moment. It's reports that they've been rejected. The Saudis, the Ricketts, and Woody Johnson. His consortium. 33 people in. Welcome. Welcome along. This is where we talk Chelsea. Anything to do with Chelsea. Chelsea back in the day. Chelsea now. Chelsea in the future. We can talk about your favourite players, your favourite games, your favourite moments, your worst games, your worst players, players that went under the radar that never got appreciated, and players that we want to forget about. Highlight for me the other night was somebody mentioned Khalid Boularus. That made my day, that. Boularus. He wore number 9, didn't he? Apparently it's been rejected, Paul. The Ricketts family's bid has been rejected because of what's the patriarch of the family, what he said years ago. And the new, or the scrutiny about what he said, or the extended scrutiny. So he's gone. Apparently, Ricketts are gone, as well as the Saudis and Woody Johnson. Todd Bowley, LA Dodgers owner, and Josh Harris, David Blitzer, part of a consortium with Martin Broughton and Seb Coe, have made the short list as well. There's no news on Nick Candy, but the Nick Candy bid has been spoken of being rejected. Yeah, Everton fan, no problem. There's no drama. We're coming to join in. People got a bad opinion of Chelsea fans, but I think you'll find on here, got a great community, a great bunch of subscribers on my channel. and we're quite open-minded. We're not the stereotypical Chelsea fan, let's just say that. And I say that based on what people have used to say about us. 15 likes so far. Thank you very much. Adam, evening. How are you, mate? Good to see you here. Good to see you in. Bit of a night for a couple of hours chinwag about anything to do with Chelsea. Why does my screen keep going off over there? I'll keep you updated on the Wales score. Daniel, we want the Saudi media. We don't. We don't want the Saudi media. There's reports that they would have plunged us into more debt. So, can't confirm that, but we don't want them, the Saudis. Yeah, the Everton fan gets away with it because we don't mind about Everton. It's the other mob, Paul, exactly. The bin dippers across the other side of town we don't like. Don't want to talk about them. But I will say this, on half laugh, if Mohamed Salah doesn't sign a new contract and leaves, that would make me laugh. Something chronic. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. I'm just going to give it another 10 minutes or so. There's a couple of stories that caught my eye. When do you think they get new owners? There's rumours they're going to try and get the new owners in by the end of the season. If not, ASAP. So, I think as far as Thomas Tuchel and the footballing side goes, it'd just be business as usual. 12 wins, 13 games. Thank you very much. Let's keep going. And then, as I said the other night, everyone's looking for Chelsea to fail. Everyone's looking for us to fall apart. But we're only going to get stronger. What do you guys think? If you weren't here on the other night, then welcome along. Got approaching 20,000 subscribers. Up to 20,000 people can come and join my stream. And they'll get notified that I have a stream open. Let's see how many. I'm waiting for it to hit over 100. That'll be great. Then 200 would be great. The record number watching my channel was, I think, over 500 at the time. And that was the Champions League final. Do you remember that game? Not sure if you... Do you remember that? Small matter of the Champions League final, winning it for a second time. Exactly, Woodshedder. We will be in the same situation down the line if we're owned by the Saudi media group. Exactly. Exactly. What's going to happen to them with Newcastle? If Newcastle don't put up any trees, not successful, are they going to stick around? It was the best day. It was the best weekend of 2021, Woodshedder. The best weekend of 2021. For those of you who don't know, I might have said it once or twice on my channel. Chelsea won the Champions League final on Saturday the 29th of May, around 10 p.m. Around 11 p.m, I was at my mate's house, having a few beers, getting drunk, with permission from my wife, who was 9 months pregnant, a week away, and we were told at the time everything's fine. He's got plenty of room. He's a week away. So I went out after we won the Champions League final. After I stopped crying on YouTube, I went out and I got drunk. Came home at 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday the 30th of May. 6 p.m. Sunday the 30th of May. Later on that night, where am I? At the hospital. Wifey went into labour. And my little boy Leo was born at 4 o'clock in the morning, 31st of May, Bank Holiday Monday. So that weekend for me will always be remembered as the best weekend of my life. It was just amazing. Leo, I tried to get the name changed to Kai last minute, wasn't happening. Chels, no. My wife doesn't like football. Can't stand football. Unfortunately, my wife's family were Tottenham. Let's just say that. So we don't talk about football. I don't want to keep rubbing it in. Anyway. Goal for Wales. Wales has scored against Austria. 1-0. 25 minutes gone. I'm not sure who scored yet. I'll have a butcher's at that. Hold on, that's why I keep looking over here, checking on the score. Gareth Bale scored 25 minutes in. Big goal. They've got Sabitzer and Marko Arnautovic up front, Austria. Decent. But yeah, Wales 1-0 up, 25 gone. So yeah, so what a weekend that was. Daniel, I hope Thomas Tuchel stay at Chelsea with new owners and back him in the summer. They will. They should do. Paul chopping heads isn't a good look. I think Tuchel's been great through all of this, isn't he? He's been absolutely fantastic. The way he's spoken about the whole situation. He had one moment when he turned around and just said, look, I'm here for football. I can't answer these questions. I just got to concentrate on the football. We're all in the same boat. We only found out at the same time everybody else did. Blah, 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 blah. And I think he's been brilliant, Thomas Tuchel. And he's already talking about the fact that it's going to, they're talking about Man United trying to poach him. He doesn't want to go. Why would he want to go? Why would you want to leave the current world and European champions to go and join that shower of shit over at Man U? Absolute mess of a club. Anyway, they're after Ten Hag, aren't they? Ten Hag, who's, let's see how he gets on. Moses, how you doing? What do we with 3? Never liked it on your chest. I know, I've got it stuck up there still. And over there. In the away shirt as well. But I can't, I have to get a big bit of paper put over it or something. Or just colour it in. Get a bit of blue marker pen. That'd be alright, wouldn't it? I'm surprised they've not taken it off yet, though, I have to say. I hope my in-laws are subscribers to my channel. No. Of course not, Mark. Oh, dear. No. I wouldn't expect it, though. You know what I mean? My wife supports me, what I'm doing. She doesn't like football. But she supports me. That's the main thing. Oh, dearie me. So... let's just, let's see where we're at. Hold on, I've got to try something here. Oh, there you go. I don't want to look at that desktop. I want to look at a different one. Hold on. In fact, no, I'll leave that one on. Let's leave that one on here. So, let's come over here then. So, we've got ourselves this news. So, this is the news items I was looking at. So just reconfirms. So Sky Sports News reconfirms the situation. So unsuccessful bidders. Woody Johnson, the New York Jets owner, and the Saudi media group reports have missed out, with AFL partners not expected to make the next phase. They're talking about the fact, as I said earlier, that the Nick Candy has possibly missed out. Todd Bowley, the LA Dodgers part owner, and Sir Martin Broughton, the former Liverpool and British Airways chairman, are rumoured to be going through, along with Josh Harris and David Blitzer, the Martin Broughton and Seb Coe consortium. I was looking at this as well. Look at this one. So Roman Abramovich makes Chelsea demand to Rain Group. He's made a demand for the future of the club. And what he said is, he said this: he's got to say in the process of the sale and the World and European Champions, despite the sanctions, they've been told to pick the best bid rather than the biggest, with Abramovich also wanting to ensure that Chelsea's new owners have a proven track record, a vision for the club, and easy access to funds. Now that's decent, isn't it? That is excellent. Chelsea will become the most expensive sports team in history, by the way. The most expensive sports team in history. But this is what I'm going to focus on. Cesar Azpilicueta. Now, Azpi torn on whether to stay at the club after a huge offer from Spain. Now, there's reports that he wants to have another 2-year contract at Chelsea or a 3-year deal. He's 32. Chelsea not going to give him that deal. Going to give him a 1-year contract, as we all know. That's what the club do. But there are reports here that Barcelona have offered him a 3-year contract. When he was asked about it with Spain, he said, it's not the right place and the right moment to discuss my future. Azpi. Also, Tony Cruz. Nobody wanted to draw Chelsea in the Champions League quarterfinals, which I thought was great. He said, they are the current Champions League champions, so it couldn't be more difficult. There could hardly be a bigger hurdle, but we have to concentrate on ourselves. And if we play well, it's possible to do a lot of things. We have to try to be very good because that's what we all have to be to reach the semi-finals. Nobody wanted PSG in the last 16 and probably nobody wanted Chelsea in the quarterfinals. But that's the way the things are and we have to accept them. So, What do you guys think about that? What do you think about Toni Kroos and his revelation? Swampy, how are you, mate? Got to hope for the Bowley Consortium as an American. The Dodgers have become a dynasty in the past decade in baseball because of the investments they've made in the roster. Good. That's what we want. We want people to come in. We want people to take the club forward. That's what we want. Pub's open, by the way, people. If you fancy a tipple, join in. While we talk about Chelsea. So, Azpi. Reports are, well, different kinds of reports. I'm good, mate, Swampy. I'm really good, mate. How you doing? How's your channel getting on, all right? Hopefully it's good. So, different reports about Azpilicueta. Remember, we signed him for $7.5 million in 2013. And what a player he is. Remains. Look at me. And there's a report saying that he played over 30 games this season, and part of his contract is that over 30 games he gets an additional year's extension automatically triggered. The same report, can't remember where it was from this week, said that he is aching for a return back to Spain to finish up his career there, and he's asked Chelsea if he can try and ease himself out of that additional year. Now today you're reading that Azpi wants to stay for a couple of seasons. Chelsea, bearing in mind he's over 30, he's 32 now, are only prepared to offer a 1-year rolling contract to the over 30s, and that's not what Azpi wants. But at the same time, Xavi and Barcelona and what he's creating over there have come calling, and they're willing to offer him a 3-year contract. So, yeah, Paul, the Ricketts thing is the guy at Financial Times, who's quite a creditable source, has come out and said they're not, because of the slur back in the day. So I'm going to go with that. I don't want Ricketts involved. The fact that they flew over, or they've flown over to London to try and appease the fans, it's like, bog off, go away, waste of money. So we don't want that. And would Roman Abramovich and the Rain Group look at that and think, oh, there's a lot of disdain from the Chelsea fans on social media and in general that we keep reading about. Yeah, we'll sell Chelsea to them, the Ricketts family. They're not going to do that. Of course they won't. Hopefully not anyway. So that's what we hope not anyway. So 35 gone, Wales still winning 1-0. So yes, Azpi. If he wants to go back to Spain, then you'd let him go, wouldn't you? You have to. 10 years he's been at our club, and he's won it all. Outstanding signing. You think of that back four. You think of like Ivanovic, how much he cost us when we bought him. Gary Cahill, he was only $7 million from Bolton in the January window. Was it 2007, or was it it's probably a bit later than that, wasn't it? No, it was later than that, Cahill. It was pretty around the same sort of time, wasn't it? No, we won the Champions League, so Cahill must be around 2010, possibly. Around that sort of time. 7 million, Cahill. Azpi, 7.5 million from Marseille. And look at the service that each one of those players, those three players, gave to Chelsea. A lot of people talk about Chelsea defenders. They talk about Ashley Cole all the time, obviously. John Terry. They talk about Carvalho. Those defenders that made a difference. You know, people mention the likes of like Robert Hoof and Desailly and William Gallas before he went mental. Frank Leboeuf. But over that period of time that Roman Abramovich has been at our football club, those defenders that have come in for a pittance. Blues, he is, yeah, he is. With Seb Coe and with these two guys, Josh Harris and David Blitzer. Investment bankers or something like that. But yeah, those three defenders, absolutely outstanding. Every single one of them. It's just a shame to see Ivanovic come back to the Premier League of West Brom and struggle. No one wanted to see that. Swampy, Ricketts should be avoided, not because of the politics, but because of management. The Cubs won the World Series in 2016, and they went on to sell all the core players that got them there. Exactly. See, that's what you don't want. You don't want owners that look at your football club, take over, rinse the arse out of it, put it in loads and loads of debt, make a lot of money out of it by flogging the best players, and just see the players as pound signs on the pitch. The three best players are let go for profit, just no competitive edge to them. Exactly. So the good thing is that Roman Abramovich has got a say. The good news yesterday was that he's allowed his company, Fordham, are allowed to invest 30 million into the club, keep the club going, apparently, and the tickets. So we can't sell tickets for home Premier League games. We can for the away games, with the profits of those tickets going to the home team. The Cup games, Champions League games, we can sell the money for, and it's going to go to the Premier League, and the money will go to Ukraine, hopefully. So I guess we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But bit by bit, we're beginning to get our little license changed, and hopefully it'll come in our favour, and it won't be too much longer. But it's got to be the right owners. It's got to be the right owners that want the best for the football club, that want us to maintain where we are now, and then look to kick us forward by doing the stadium, keep investing in the community and in the local area, in the academy, and of course, the first team playing squad. We can't go backwards. Mind you, if we did, then we've won it all, and I've seen it in my lifetime. So what do you think about Tony Kroos and what he said about Chelsea? Nobody wanted to draw Chelsea. And they got battered by Barcelona at the weekend, didn't they? Real Madrid. They're flying high, top of the league, and got absolutely tonked. So that was quite funny. 45 of you in, welcome along. Smash that like button for me as well. I'm on 29 likes at the minute. Still 1-0 Wales. So, let's get the ball rolling. Tony Kroos just sucking up to us. Ladies don't get the crowd, but they should get the same sanctions. I hope the new owners will like Chelsea and care about our club. Exactly. JT23, thank you, mate. How you doing? Nobody ever wants to play the European champions. But the thing is, Blues. The thing is, think of the Terry, Drogba, Lampard, Czech era. Barcelona didn't ever want to play us. They hated playing against Chelsea. They rode their luck at times. Of course they did. Bloody what's his face? Iniesta from outside the box. Or whatever it was. When they got that equaliser and went through. But they hated playing against Chelsea because we had this edge about us. They couldn't handle playing us. And they hated it. They just hated the fact that we were physical. We were strong. You know, look at last season. Everyone wrote Chelsea off. Chelsea, Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid. Real Madrid's defence is absolute shocking. It's crap. It's pony. It's just rubbish. And this is why when I saw this rumour a couple of weeks back about Chelsea being linked with Militao, the Real Madrid centre-half, all I kept thinking of was last season, away at Real Madrid at that training ground stadium of theirs, and you're sitting there and you're watching Timo Werner that day. Yeah, Pulisic playing off of Werner. Pulisic scored, didn't he? Anyway. But Timo Werner that day, Real Madrid played 3 centre-backs. Timo Werner spent the whole game moving in between each of them, going across from side to side, in between, outside, and pull them all over the place. And they could not stand it. And Militao, shocking. And in the home game, we beat them at Stamford Bridge quite easily, shocking again. So, Real Madrid is just a name. They're not exactly the same team they used to be. And easy. Swampy says, I like our chances versus Real Madrid. PSG's style is exactly opposite to us. They play open, free and creative across the pitch. We play structured, possession-orientated and are defensively structured. Exactly. JT, what's up, mate? I hope we can build an era with Tuchel and that we do something great for 5, 6, 7 years. Exactly. Blues, 4 penalties denied against Drogba. It's a disgrace. That night was shocking, awful that night. Ice Cold, how are you, mate? Good to see you here. Cruz was demoralised last year's semis and rightly dreading the match-up again, exactly. They were far better with Zidane last year. We've struggled more this season than in the last, so it could be competitive. It could be. It could be, but we've got a lot of players that got points to prove, a lot of players that we've got to come back in. Hopefully we can get Reece James fit and get him back. He's a big player for Chelsea these days, Reece James. I like the fact that Mason Mount is playing well and making assists and scoring. Lukaku, if he's ever got time to turn up and put his socks up and do it, it'll be towards the end of the season, when the business end of the season, when trophies are about. So, yeah, I think we definitely have a massive edge, Swampy, 100%. I wouldn't worry about Real Madrid at all. Would not worry about him. Ice Cold, how are you, mate? Good to see you here. I'm good. I'm very, very good. Very good. So all my subscribers that are joining, if you don't normally get involved with the live stream, the match commentaries, I had to make the match commentary members only because I was getting abused so much in the chat. So, yeah. Dale, how are you, mate? One of the moderators is in, thank God. Portugal scored. They're 2-0 up against Turkey in the World Cup qualifiers. Every other game is 0-0, apart from Wales, who's beaten Austria 1-0. With the Iceman Havertz up front, we stand a great chance against anyone. We've got such a good squad, Chelsea. We've got an outstanding squad of players. So many options. And so many players with points to prove. RT rocks. Yeah, of course you have, Dale. What did you have in the end? Dale. Nico, how are you, mate? And when did you have yours? Mine's 10 months old approaching. Oh, you had a boy as well. What did you call him? I can't remember if you've already told us this. Apologies. Got a memory like a sieve, me. Don't even know my name. 7 weeks ago. Congratulations, mate. Henry William. Good for you. Congratulations, Dale. Congratulations. It's mad, isn't it? Changes your life big time. Now, Dale, let me just say this. Off topic completely. A lot of people keep saying to you, I enjoy these moments, live these moments and all this sort of stuff. And you think, yeah. Seriously, they're right. Live every single moment, mate. Love it. I still love it big time. My boy's 10 months old now. 10 months old, my boy. He's growing up so quick. Nico has got a question. Keep it clean. Go on. What's your question, Nico? Big up, Dale. Ice cold. The old school are back in. Good to see you here. We're discussing the bids for Chelsea. Azpi's contract. We're talking about Toni Kroos as being scared of playing Chelsea and Real Madrid. Why they sell the club? Because they have to, Nico. They have to sell the club. I think you know why they have to sell the club. You know why they have to. I'm not going to point it out. Let's not be silly. Could do without this. Dear me. Let's my choice among the shortlist. Anyone that's got Chelsea in their heart. Ice cold, mate. Anyone that's got Chelsea, that want the best for our football club, that want the best for the fans as well, that understand it. Ice cold. Not just going to come in here and drain the arse out of it, try and rinse as much money out of it as possible and then bugger off. We don't want that. We want people that's going to take the club forward. Nico, what are you talking about now? Give the money away. Yes, but money. Why should buy Chelsea club money? Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. Not to buy given to Ukraine. I don't think you're from Ireland, are you? Bye-bye, Nico. You're getting on my word. On my... See you, mate. You're off. Honestly, I'm not going to get into all that nonsense. We know why Chelsea have got to be sold. We know where the money's going to go. We know the reason. Paul, enjoy your dinner, mate. This is what I mean. You get idiots come up on the chat. I'm not going to start getting involved. I keep saying this about Ukraine, and it's just horrendous, horrific, unjust. It's just what's happening to them. It's just awful, and no words could ever explain that. So when some poxy bleeding bell piece comes on, why did Chelsea have to sell? I'll leave it out. New owners comes, hopefully new sponsorship. Yeah, imagine it. Imagine there's new sponsors. Who the new sponsors would potentially be? LA Dodgers. Dear me. Tide washing powder. Could be anything. Paul's having his dinner. Samsung, yeah, back in the day. Samsung. I remember when Chelsea didn't have sponsors. They used to have their own kit. They designed their own kit themselves. Spoken about this before in the chat. The blue, red and jade coloured kits. Shocking. Who do you reckon will buy Chelsea? Well, anyone of Todd Bowley, the Broughton, Seb Coe, Harris and Blitzer consortium. There's reports saying that Nick Candy hasn't got through, nor has Woody Johnson or the Saudis. And the Ricketts family have been rejected, apparently. Well, I've been informed that their bids have not been successful, which is good. That's what we want. So we have to wait and see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the football club. But as long as it's someone that's looking for the best for Chelsea, to establish, maintain where we're at now and take us forward as a whole, meaning the stadium, the whole lot. In England, they do every possible to lose a cup final. All our last 3 cup final, they cheat. Who? Who are you talking about, Daniel? You got to earn the right to win cup finals, and Chelsea didn't do it. Being honest, we didn't do it, did we? Looked like we would a couple of seasons ago, but then we had the injuries to Pulisic, Azpilicueta. Done us. That was against the Gooners, wasn't it? 3 Lions. So, Azpi. Do you keep him or do you let him go? Let me know in the chat. Let's put it on. Let's pin this. He's gone. Rudiger's gone. Blues. He's gone. Azpi. Do we try and keep or let? Oh, what's happened here? It's disappeared. Hold on. Something's happened to my stream. There you go. Don't know why it keeps doing that. Or let him go. There you go. Do you try and keep him or let him go as Azpilicueta? Let's get involved. That's the subject of conversation. So where would you play Azpilicueta now? Play him right back? Would you play him right wing back? Or would you play him centre back going forward rest of the season? Maynak, Bowley are not too good as they take loans from clubs. What you have to remember is a lot of this stuff is reports, a lot of it is rumour. So, as long as they don't do what they've done to Man United, the Glazers, and take them over and just try and rinse the arse out of them and make loads of money off them. Ice cold. If he prefers to leave, I'd let him go out of respect. Exactly, Asp. But where would you play Azpilicueta now, between now and the end of the season? Make Asp our best offer while remembering a lot younger than Silva and play Asp at centre-back. Okay. Oh, I have to. Oh, mind you, that's a good point. By the way, I'm going to take that pinned comment down because well done, Blues. Yeah, I know, an absolute farce. Matt Law is saying. The guy I was quoted was the guy that was for the Financial Times. There you go, guys. Let's talk about Thiago Silva. How... Answer this in the chat for me then, people. When Thiago Silva signed for Chelsea last summer from PSG, what did you expect of him? Did you expect him to be as just unbelievable that he's been for our football club and just continues to just get better and better with his age? Did you ever think you were going to get the level of performance in a consistent basis from him? He just looks imperious, Thiago Silva. He's just unbelievable, Thiago Silva. And he loves it. He loves it at Chelsea. And we got him for another season. He just makes the game look so easy. So easy. Azpilicueta could be influential in keeping the peace in the dressing room and could be a figurehead between the players and higher employees. Exactly. Daniel's going back to the comment he made a minute ago. They cheat us because Lukaku goal was not offside. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Best centre-back in the Premiership, says Royland. Ice Cold says, best centre-back in the league, so cool under pressure. Blues. I didn't expect him to be the best centre-back in the Premier League, which he is. Daniel, because of Thiago Silva, I've told my junior brother to be a defender. Or if he wants to play in midfield. Tomorrow will be a perfect replacement for Rudiger, and Kundi will also be a perfect replacement for Christensen. I think Kundi wants to come, doesn't he? He wants to come, but it's going to cost a lot of money. Tomorrow won't come back unless Chelsea's got some sort of a part of an agreement with AC Milan, first refusal. So I think it's going to be difficult, and I think Kundi might come, but it's going to cost a lot of money. Woodshed, I've got no expectations for Silva now. We're all very fond of him. Rolls Royce for a player. Sorry, I had no expectations. Apologies. I think we all knew that Thiago Silva was different class, but he's come in. And everyone was saying, oh, can he handle it in the Premier League? Can he handle the pace and power and physicality of the Premier League? I'll tell you what, good players that can read the game of football, most of them are defenders and midfielders, they can see things happening. They can see the way that the game begins to pan out and how attacks start. And they can anticipate. And Thiago Silva anticipates where the ball's going to go. Runs defenders, mate. And he sees it. And that's why he gets himself in a position to make these tackles and to block things. And money can buy you everything, but it can't buy you experience. And that's what Thiago Silva brings you. And it's just unbelievable. He has been so good for our football club, Thiago Silva. Kimpembe. That's the guy at Barcelona, though, isn't it? Barcelona probably won't let him go. He's trying to build something there, isn't he? Defo's got one more season left. Yeah, definitely. When you can read the game as well as he can, you haven't got to worry about pace because your anticipation and your little movement makes up for it. Thiago Silva. Unbelievable player. So good. Such a good player. Yeah, Wales half-time is 1-0 against Austria. Thiago Silva. So Azpi, we could potentially lose Azpi. Thiago Silva will still be here. Trevor Chalobah will still be here. Oh, PSG, that's it. Apologies. I got mixed up. Rudiger is apparently he's leaving. He's agreed a deal with Juve, supposedly. And the thing is, Chelsea can't offer him a new contract. So, but he wanted 225,000, didn't he, a week, and Chelsea weren't going to give that. So, you know, I think Rudiger's been great for Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel. He's been outstanding. Remember, he lost his place in the team under Frank Lampard. I mean, make of that what you will, but Rudiger has been outstanding under Thomas Tuchel. The only problem with Tony Rudiger, and I keep saying this on my channel, live match commentaries and everything else, if there's trouble on the pitch, he wants to be part of it. He wants to get involved. And it's like, just don't do it. And he lunges at times. And at times he does that skipping run, that horrible whatever he's trying to do. I don't know what he's doing. But I just hope, and I said it the other night, I hope that Tony Rudiger keeps his head between now and the end of the season, because if he gets himself sent off and a 3-game ban, or he misses like a second leg of a Champions League game, or, that could be horrendous for us. So I think he's off, ice cold. I think he is off. Daniel, watching live in Ghana with my friend. We love you. Love you guys too. Thanks very much for being there and watching. Woodshed, remember Franco Baresi? Oh, man, didn't he play till he was 40? He was one of those defenders who was always in the right place and no one got past him. Just watched the World Cup final night for Brazil versus Italy. Too bad he missed the penalty. He was outstanding, wasn't he? He was just outstanding, wasn't he? Baresi, Maldini. I think Baresi played till he was 40 odd. I think. I might have got mixed up. I think he did. Blues. As long as we don't buy the fridge, Maguire. Who wants him? Maguire. Harry Maguire. Oh, slaphead. Bless him. I love the dirty side of Rudy. Yeah, the thing is, we love someone that's got the, they like got a bit of fire in their belly. Let's just say that. We love that. We want to see people that want to fight for the cause, but in the right way. But honestly, as soon as there's trouble on the pitch, there's a bit of argy-bargy. Rudiger's straight over there. He wants to get involved. Isn't Dembele coming on a free? Is that Osman Dembele? There's reports that he's playing well for Barca again, and he might now stay. So if that's Osman Dembele, then it's not him. Ice Cold Silva said in an interview this week he wants to play till 41, 42. Hopefully. Imagine that. He stays with us for another couple of seasons. But see, you've got a difference there. So I know it's a completely different situation, but you've got Thiago Silva, who has a 1-year rolling contract. Chelsea offer him a couple of months back a year's extension. He's like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'll take another year. No problem. You've got Azpilicueta, who's 32, obviously about 5, 6 years younger than Thiago Silva. And he wants stability. His last final contract, he wants a couple of years, not just the one that Chelsea want to give him. And that's the problem. So Barca are in the hunt for Azpi, and there's reports that he could go back. 3-year deal. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But it'll be interesting to see. If you think about it now, with everything going on about the club being sold and who's going to buy Chelsea, and the reports of the contracts that can't be renewed, and so from this moment, think about it now. Think right now what the very first day of next season is going to look like for Chelsea. Where we're going to be, who's going to own the club, what ins and outs we've had in the summer, if we do sell the club in time for a summer transfer window, how much money is going to be spent and invested in the football club, who comes in. There'll be a plan. And whoever does come in and take over the football club, they'll be absolutely mad to get rid of some of the people that are already there. Because despite the fact that there's a sanction and we can't sign anybody at the moment or sell people and stuff like that, there still will be a plan for Chelsea looking at players for transfer targets, for when we can sign them. So, knows that is Lukaku staying? He wants to go. He wants to go back to Inter, apparently. Or he just wants to leave Chelsea because it's not working out for him. Dower, how are you, mate? Welcome back. Welcome back. Smash the like button, people. 50 likes so far. 79 of you watching. Smash that like button. Let's talk Chelsea. Let's get involved. Pub's open, by the way. Where have you been, Dower? Yeah, so the actual match commentaries I do just members only because of the abuse I used to keep getting from fans that weren't Chelsea fans that come on my channel and just post rubbish up. And somebody called me fatty once. Can you believe that? I can't. It's just absolutely shocking behaviour. I think if the first thing they come on my chat and said was, "Are you a Chelsea fan?" And I was like, "No." And they went fatty, and just kept saying it. It abused me. Made me body conscious. You're busy with work in Canada. Okay. So you're watching in from Canada. Welcome. Welcome back. 93 people. Welcome, people, to Talking Chelsea. We're talking everything Chelsea. We're talking Chelsea now being sold. We're talking about Chelsea players now. We can talk retro Chelsea as well. Chelsea from back in the day. We can talk Chelsea in the future. It's up to you what we talk about. Blues. I think we need to restructure our scouting network and stop assembling front lines that stylistically don't fit together. I think what you're trying to say is we should buy players that fit the system we want to play. And that's the problem with Lukaku. And if anything, look at Chelsea since Mourinho turned up in 20... The Athletics announced Candy's gone. Yeah, I've seen that. So when Jose Mourinho first turned up, and he went to 4-3-3, one up front, it sort of changed. That we started looking at the someone leading the line with two players wide of them. Yes, it changed to a degree when Shevchenko turned up and played next to Drogba. And look what happened to Drogba. So, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on the owners that I prefer, Dower? I prefer anyone that's got the best interest for our football club at heart, that want to maintain where we're at now, and want to take our club forward. Simple as that. That's what we want. There's rumours that Todd Boehly, the LA Dodgers owner, has been one of the ones shortlisted, as well as Martin Broughton and Seb Coe's consortium that consists of Josh Harris and David Blitzer, American guys. They've been shortlisted. The Saudis are out. Woody Johnson are out. And there's rumour that Nick Candy's out as well. So, and the Ricketts family are out as well. So it might be down to just two potential bidders, both with American investment. So Todd Boehly will be the best one for you in your opinion. Okay. But thanks for the super chat, Dale. Much appreciated. Thank you. Smash the like button, people. So yeah, as long as we get someone in. Blitzer and Harris are shite. Why is that, Zach? Let me know. Talk to me. Let me know. Drinks refreshment time. Don't forget, people. Chelsea staff, the pub's open. Let's get myself to do as you're told. But yes, we're talking Chelsea. We're talking anything to do with Chelsea. Anything at all to do with Chelsea. But let me get back on point. I'm talking about the fact that you're talking about, so Blues said about reassembling the scouting network and assembling front lines that don't fit together. That's Lukaku's biggest problem. And he's spoken about it. I did a video a couple of weeks back. And I said about Romelu Lukaku, is it all of his fault? Now, there's both sides of the argument when it comes to Lukaku. Hold on, let me put it up on my thing. Talking Lukaku. Is it all his fault? Okay, I'm going to put it up on here. So, Lukaku. Lukaku has openly admitted that he doesn't want to be labelled as a target man, as someone that leads the line, Lukaku. That's what he said. He prefers to have someone playing next to him. He prefers to have somebody that takes the workload off of him and that he can drop deep and then collect the ball in some space, turn and run at defenders. That's what he's openly said and admitted that that's the best way that he can play football, and that's what he prefers to do as a striker. Hold on a second, Zach. They own the NBA Sixers. I've been a Sixers fan as long as Chelsea for 40 plus years. Harris Blitzer bought the Sixers 2011. I'm a hostage now, not a fan. Really? They are clowns. Most unorganised ownership front office in the NBA. Wow. But they're in with Martin Broughton, who's a Chelsea season ticket holder, and Seb Coe, who's obviously lifelong Chelsea. So hopefully that might change things, maybe. Anyway, Lukaku, as we're talking. So, open your first beer. Yeah. Open my first beer over here. Cheers. Here's my assessment of new owner. All these candidates are bad owners until they prove us wrong. Just like Roman. Lukaku's problem is that he sucks. He's just Serie A's donkey league. So Lukaku doesn't want to play as a target man. Unfortunately, in this Chelsea team, you have to. Look at Olivier Giroud, played as a target man for Chelsea. For Thomas Tuchel, when required. He did a great job for it. You know. Look at Didier Drogba, the way he led the line. He could do it by himself. He could occupy defenders. He could do everything himself. He could bully defenders. Diego Costa could do the same thing. Giroud could do the same thing. That's not what Lukaku's about. You look at Lukaku. So I said this when he first signed. So you've got So last season, 3 up front, you had Timo Werner, Olivier Giroud and Lukaku. You had absolute different ends of the scale. You had Giroud, who's an out-and-out target man, not quick by any form of the imagination, but he could be the one that leads the line. You got Giroud here. Over here, you got Timo Werner, who's a speed merchant. Who wants to run off the back of the defender, off the shoulder, be played in behind. You got one extreme to the other. You think that Lukaku would be more like Giroud. Lukaku wants to be more like Timo Werner. And that's why it just doesn't work for me. Blues, Lukaku's the wrong type of player for us in another Renal Cup. Global CFC season ticket holder with no money. Well, you've got shares in Palace, Royal Minor shares. Maybe just an Emil Heskey and Lukaku suit. They own the Sixers outright, like all these hedge fund rats. They've got no idea how to run an organisation with people. Lukaku, it's not entirely his fault. So many times they ignore his runs and he's clearly gesticulating. Tom, how are you, mate? Oh man, yeah, Bro's a great player. Brilliant player for us. Because the UK media is racist, they shite on Roman fans, don't realise what RA is an organised structural genius. His governorship is legendary. I'm well, mate. I'm well, Tom. How are you? How are you? What a great job Roman Abramovich done for our football club. In football terms, what a fantastic job he did. That's all I'm going to say on it. About all that. So yeah, so Lukaku struggles because he's asked to be playing as a target man, and that's not his game. So unless we put somebody else out there with him and change the formation, which we're not going to do, he's going to struggle, Lukaku. So he's gone, I think. I think Lukaku will go at the end of the season. I think Thomas Tuchel's given up. But the good thing is, there's a saying in football, you're only as good as your last game. We got so many big games coming up. Real Madrid twice, Champions League. Palace in the FA Cup semi-final and then the potential final against the Bin Dippers or Man City. And we got the run into the Premier League. Now we're only 8, if we win our game in hand, we're only 8 points behind. Only 8 points behind Man City. What's to say that they lose a couple of games, draw a couple, Chelsea go on a great run? You never know, do you? You never, ever know. So, Lukaku's got time to turn up. He's got time to turn up between now and the end of the season, but he needs a shift in mentality to do it, really, for me. Zach going from Roman to hedge fund rats to Squire Club. Roman number 1. Daft, to join your channel. Look over. Oh, you go into the channel homepage. There should be a join button next to where it's like subscribe. Should see a join button, Tom. So if anybody else wants to become channel members, it's only £1 a month. And you'll have access to the chat in the live match commentaries. I just can't have the live match commentary open to the public. It's just ridiculous. I get abused big time. Hugh, man, do you think we'll ever sign Kane? I had a dream last night. We had Paul Scholes, an assistant manager. Dear me. I bet you woke up in a cold sweat, didn't you, Hugh? You must have done. Doesn't appear. Really? On my channel homepage. Should not an option for join. Should be. From £12 on a season ticket holder. LOL. Global CFC's got the welcome to mid-table. Let's try and be positive. You never know, do you? The UK governing sanction document is the most outrageous shot I've ever seen, and the UK media just co-signs this thievery. Anard. Yeah, Wales have gone 2 up against Austria in the World Cup qualifier. Wow. Who scored the second goal? Gareth Bale. Would you believe it? He's got 2. As I said, Austria got Sabitzer and Arnautovic up front. They've got some good players, the Austrian team, and they're getting beat 2-0. Oh, sorry, Human. About Harry Kane. I'd love to sign Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the best centre forward. He's right up there in the world. Harry Kane. He is all-round centre forward. As a Chelsea fan and a rival supporter, Harry Kane is one of the best out there at everything. But with Mr. Levy over at Tottenham, we're never going to sign him. Because of what he did with Modric back in the day. Modric wanted to come to Chelsea. He turned around and said, no, you're never going to Chelsea. And then next thing you know, Real Madrid come in for him, and Modric has been at Real Madrid ever since. But Modric wanted to come. He was willing to come to Chelsea. He wanted to come to Chelsea, and basically that was it. Zach, there's rumours that the Saudi media group was just going to try and take Chelsea into debt. Just fund with loads and loads of debt, put Chelsea into even more debt. So the thing is with this at the moment, there's all sorts of rumours, there's all sorts of opinion, and you know, there's all sorts of gossip. So it's just a Saudi thing. Everyone's sort of negative about that ever since it was mentioned on social media, along with the Ricketts family. So both of them have gone. Yeah, he did. Yeah, the president of Ukraine said Roman Abramovich is taking part in trying to get peace talks with Russia. I saw that. That's just Roman for you, isn't it? Would you take Paul Pogba on a free transfer next season? Yes, I would. 100%. And the reason I take Paul Pogba on a free transfer is I change our formation to 4-3-3 and I play him on the left side of the midfield three where he did for Juve, because that's his natural position, Pogba. Conte behind him, Mason on the right-hand side, or Kovacic, and go with that. Probably Mason Mount. But I'll take Pogba on a free transfer, 100%. 100%. The guy just doesn't fit in with Man United. Never has done. So they don't play him to his strengths. Money talks, though, says Human. Zach's still on his. He's still on his rant. He would definitely. Pogba would under Thomas Tuchel. The only thing with Tuchel's Chelsea is you've got to be good without the ball, big time. Good question, Tom. Good question. Here we go. So, what forward do we need? Not who's the best, but who suits Chelsea's style. It should be Timo, but he looks like a write-off. But Mbappe, obviously, we can't ever see that. Maybe Neymar at his age. Tuchel, new start, maybe. What forward do we need? Not who's the best, but who suits our style. See, Harry Kane, for me, suits Chelsea down to the ground because he can lead the line and he can drop off, and then he can allow people like Son runs in behind. The combination he's got with Son, if he drops off, Son makes a run in behind. Simple as that. So maybe Harry Kane. But he's not going to come to Chelsea. And he's going to have to force a move, and Chelsea has to pay an absolute fortune for him. Neymar, I don't rate Neymar. Never have. Lewandowski, not going to have him, I don't think. Lewandowski's one of these ones that, you know, he doesn't want to come to the Premier League until the end of his career. I mean, look at Gonzalo Higuain. He came to Chelsea, he didn't put up any trees, did he, really? Let's be honest. So, Blues, after Conte, Kovacic is my favourite midfielder. He is. Kovacic is an outstanding player. He's everywhere. And we had this conversation the other day on the chat. So let's talk about midfielders within the Premier League now and the expectation for midfielders. And this is relating to Paul Pogba as well, by the way. So you look at how N'Golo Kante and Matteo Kovacic play and the area they cover in the middle of midfield. They work hard in the attacking third and they work hard in the defensive third without the ball. But what they can do, when they pick the ball up and win the ball, they can turn defence into attack in an instance with just a couple of little moves, like Loftus-Cheek. I said this the other day, Loftus-Cheek is beginning to... He's finding his feet in that deeper midfield role, and it really suits him. Pogba, I agree, Pogba is sublime. MUFC doesn't ever play CDM with Pogba, exactly. Zach, I agree 100% with Harry Kane will win the Premier League. We do. Would I pay 150 million for Declan Rice as global? No. I don't think we will. I don't think Chelsea will do that because they let him go in the past. And let's face it, they just paid £100 million to bring somebody back to the club, and it's turned out to be a bit of a disaster. So I can't see it happening. Zach Zelenpal, you're spot on about the hedge fund gang. Blues. Could our perfect striker be under our nose in Braha? Exactly, 100%. 100%. Zach, exactly, Chris. They're parasites like ticks and dogs' arse, manage others' wealth and collect fees in the billions. Exactly. Q-Man, will I ever sit in the away end against Chelsea if tickets become hard to get in the away stand? Deary me. I couldn't do it, if I'm honest. As much as I want to go and see Chelsea and support Chelsea, I could never sit still and keep quiet in the away stand. No. Tom, I always feel we need balls over the top. We never do it. 100%, Tom. Can't agree with you more. In fairness, I think we've diamond in Havertz. I will not be surprised to see him becoming something special now as number 9. Clever. Tuchel and Pogba. West Ham can keep Rice. Tom, your point. Balls over the top. Thank you very much. I'm going to take you back to Juventus. Champions League this season away when we lost the game when they scored and they beat us 1-0. And it's getting back to the Lukaku thing as well. So, in that game, Lukaku played pushed up against Chiellini and what's his face? The other bloke, what's his name? Can't think what his name is. Delit. He pushed up right up against him. And he made it so easy for them to mark him. And I might have said this time and time again, but I'm going to say it again in case people have missed it. So, Chiellini, Bonucci. Sorry, it was Bonucci and Delit, right? So they're sitting there watching Lukaku in front of them, right? They can see Lukaku moving in front of them, and he makes it easy for them. They can push up and squeeze Lukaku backwards towards his own half, and they can just see him. Because Lukaku's not going to run in behind. It got so easy for them. And every time we looked to play a ball forward, Lukaku was pushed up against Bonucci and Delit. Havertz was trying to get around him and couldn't because there was no space. And it was awful. So I said on my commentary, and you'll find it on this channel, go back to the Juve game at half-time, away, and I was saying, bring on Timo Werner and tell everybody in the midfield, the fullbacks, everybody, for the first 10 minutes, play long balls over the top and get Timo Werner to run in behind. Because what that does, that creates nervousness with the Juve defence because they've got to think about Lukaku as well, and they've got to think about the running behind. And with the pace of Timo Werner, the likes of Bonucci and Delit that aren't exactly quick will have to drop off. And what they did, it creates some space and it opens the game up and causes nervousness. And Kai Havertz will have a lot of time to play around in behind Timo Werner. Werner will cause all sorts of problems running over the top. Just change the perspective of the game and change the way the game was being played out. And we didn't do it. The whole game. Tuchel didn't do it. And it frustrated the life out of me. All he had to do was balls over the top. First 10 minutes, second half, every time. Lump it over the top, get Werner to run after it. And in the end, it'll change the way the game was going. But we didn't do it, and it done what it didn't. Royland, any news on the centrist bid? I think it's been rejected. Global CFC, which defenders would you buy for Chelsea if Rudy, Christensen and Azpi leave? I think let's talk about, obviously, Jules Koundé. I would try and go and get Tomori back, 100%. I'm not too sure about Gerhi. He's still all right at Palace, but I'm not too sure if he'd be with us. But defender-wise, not sure. Really, I'm not sure. Who's making some waves as a centre-back these days in the Premier League? I'll get back to you on that, Global. Spot on time, wanted no part of Lukaku in summer. Havertz, no legs, better than Fat Rom. Humour, my first game I saw in person was Old Trafford, Man United stand. Chelsea won 3-0. It was difficult to keep my cool. Or fair play, you in the United end. Good for you. Global, if we lose you, Rudy and Azpi, I'll stroke out. Tom, yeah, that's the way I've always liked Timo. So underrated his movement, his runs causes fear, but his touch and finish let down. Yeah, he's just got to get some, just play just the regular games and get a good run. Dubba, I have to hop off for work. Great to see you, mate. Charging well. Thank you, mate, and thanks for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, mate. Enjoy your day. Would I give Caldwell a chance? Caldwell? Blues? Don't know, not sure. Yeah, Levy Caldwell's heavily tipped to come in and play at centre-back next season. Imagine playing with Thiago Silva, that experience, learning from him. John Terry did. Next to Desai. Someone lost his confidence, but his run's devastating, exactly. And it was that Champions League final, that goal for Kai Havertz, the run from Werner to take him away was brilliant. Pretty much the same, Dale. Talking about the situation with the bids. Talking Lukaku, talking Thiago Silva. The only problem we got is if Havertz gets injured, touch wood, he doesn't. Because then got to rely on Lukaku, but then I still stick Timo Werner up front. Werner's runs are outstanding. It was like Fernando Torres when he was playing for Liverpool. His runs off the ball were outstanding. At Liverpool they were. But then when he came to Chelsea, he's making the same runs, but we played a different way. And he never got the ball. Thiago's a Rolls Royce, he is. What do you think on Tammy's price? What is Tammy's price? There's a report that Chelsea's got some clause in there for 40 million or something like that, wasn't it? Or is it up to 70 now or something like that? Am I 100% confident that Tuchel will stay at Chelsea? Yes, I am. I'll be very shocked if he leaves. Global, are you confident or not? Let me know. Give me your answer. 80 million now, Tammy Abraham. Turkey have scored one back against Portugal. Austria's got a chance against Wales. I'm not watching the game. I've got it on flash score. A little dot appears next to the team when they got a big chance. 65 gone. Wales 2, Austria 0. Is it going to be a goal for Austria? It is. They've scored Austria. Squeaky bum time, as they say. Over in Cardiff. Who scored for Austria? Let's have a look. Hold on. Baum. Oh no. It's not come up yet. Hasn't come up yet. Own goal. Davis, own goal. 100 million, but Chelsea got first choice option for 80. But then you say that again, but look at Tammy. Tammy's not really someone that can lead the line either, is he? TT should stay as one of the best managers Roman's appointed. Global, not confident Tuchel's linked with Real Madrid. Yeah, but Real Madrid is not the same as they were, are they? I know it's just, for me, Real Madrid is just a name. It's tradition and a name and all that sort of stuff. But, I mean, look, Zidane left, got out of there. But Real Madrid, you look at their defence, it's shocking. Absolute shocking. And look what that move for Sergio Ramos has done at PSG. Bloody hell, that's awful for him. If anything, Chelsea should go after, get Eden Hazard back. Get Hazard back, stick on the left-hand side, put Werner up front. With Havertz. Or play Havertz as number 10, put Werner up front. Put Mason Mount deeper. Yes, it's fault because Chelsea can't change the player for one team for the team to work. Okay. Chelsea clauses 6-7 million, but Tammy can't play for a top club in the Premiership. Super for him, great kid, but the Serie A is a donkey league. That's a Roma, like QPR Mill, second division. Oh dear. Tammy will always score goals. Tammy Abraham, he will always score goals. But as I say, it's just, you know, you can't rely on him to be that target man. He did for Frank Lampard. He done well for us that season. Let's be honest about it. Tammy was great for us. Great this season, or that season under Frank Lampard. But you know, just didn't work right. Real Madrid are going to load up this summer. See, Real Madrid is just subsidised by bank loans the whole time. There's a report they want Haaland and Mbappe this summer. Damn right, Sergio Ramos, what a bastard. I'll take Hazard back on a subsidised loan. Easy, cool, exactly. Havertz is natural number 10, but he's so versatile, he is. Okay, here we go. So what do we do from Tom? What do we do different against City if we play them again? Only team we've been done by this season. Still not sure how Liverpool got away with us 3 times. And now everyone's sucking them off. Oh, they've always loved bloody Liverpool, haven't they? Sky Sports love Liverpool until they won the league. Oh, it'd be so romantic they could win the league after so long. And the Man City bloody Pep Guardiola loving. But, see, I think that we've approached the games against Man City wrong. I think we've been too respectful, too defensive. We've never played the way we should have done. You look at the Man City games this season, you think, why not go back to play what we did in the Champions League final? Why not play that way and get, the three players that know each other's games? Mason Mount, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, the three of them to play and pull them apart, rip them apart again across that pitch. Just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Liverpool. As for Liverpool, they were lucky because Reece James had never been sent off. He should have been a yellow card. Completely outplayed him, dominated him, and then he got sent off and it changed the game. But I think we'll do the bin dippers. If we get to the cup final against them, we'll do them. That's what I hope. Scotland's gone one up against Poland, by the way, in a friendly. Who scored? Was it Billy Gilmore? Let's have a look. Kieran Tierney. He's a player, by the way. Kieran Tierney, big time. Yeah, Frank benched him last dozen games that 1920 season for Olivier Giroud, exactly. For Ryland Clark, bless it. UK media opponents always shot the big three, they always shot on Chelsea because we broke big English domination forever. And I'll not have it any other way. I love that we're the evil empire. See, I love the fact that we're hated. I love it. I love the fact that we're hated. I love the fact that we are always written off, always the underdogs. Love it. Absolutely love it. So, yes. Blues. Against City, you need to accept you're going to have to counter and put your fastest wingers to hug the throwing line for fast counters. Not necessarily. I think Man City are beatable. I think you play a certain way against them. But I think they rely on their possession. They rely on being the dominant side in the game. And their movement in the final third. Through midfield and in the final third. I think when you've got a mobile front line like we had in the Champions League final, when you've got Havertz, Werner and Mason Mount working in tandem and pulling them about all across the pitch in different directions, it created all sorts of panic. And I just couldn't understand why we didn't play the same way this season against them. So, I think hopefully Tuchel learned his lesson. Because don't forget, that Champions League final win, that was the third time we beat them in a row. We had this hold over Man City by beating them, knowing how to beat them. Then since then, it's all gone to shit. So, yeah, the margins are so thin. That they are. They are. Smash the like button, people. I'm on 78. I need 22 more for 100. That'd be amazing. So what else should we talk about? Let's talk about... There you go. Here we go. Question coming up now. Underrated players. In your time as a Chelsea fan, players that are under the radar, that don't get enough credit, could be whatever time, whatever era. Let me know. I'll answer one more question. Global, am I confident we can win the Champions League? Yes, we can. They make out Liverpool so much better when they're finally firing all cylinders. We have serious problems. We should be right up there when you look at, we dropped point. Exactly, we should have done. Exactly. So, who do you remember as being or in your opinion, underrated players at Chelsea? It could be any era. It could be any team. It could be any time. John Mikel Obi. Now, a lot of people say that about Mikel. And I said this the other night. In the beginning, he was outstanding, Mikel, because he always found himself in the right place, the right time. Mikel, he could break things up brilliantly. The problem was, as his position, Mikel, as that holding midfield position evolved into not just being about winning the ball back and giving it to somebody else to go and do something with it, there was a responsibility for you to then start dictating our play and starting our attacks off and using the ball quickly and playing those right passes. And that was never his game, if we're being honest about Mikel. And so Mikel struggled. And that was why when we signed Oriol Romeo, remember him? Romeo, his name is, who's now at Southampton. When he come in, under Villas-Boas, I think he come in. And he come in and he played that role, and it was a different level. It's just, you're looking at the bloke and he could win back the ball, but he can then start attacks off, drive into midfield and lay the ball off and play great passes. You're like, hang about, what's going on here? So Mikel, when he originally come into the team for a good few seasons, he was outstanding. He was, and he was underrated. But to the latter part of his Chelsea career, the way the position evolved, he couldn't keep up with it, and that was the problem. Kerry Dixon was my hero as a kid. One of the greatest number 9s in Chelsea history He was my hero as well when I was a kid. Ramirez, underrated player he was, wasn't he, Ramirez? How good was Ramirez? What an outstanding player. Very small, very slight, not muscly, probably no muscles on him, bless him. He could run all day. He had great ability with the ball at his feet. Scored some amazing goals. It's his birthday today as well, isn't it? I see something on Twitter, and Chelsea posted up, obviously, the goal at the new camp. What a goal that was, by the way. I was sitting in my flat. We had a one-bed flat at the time. Me and my missus, well, she's my girlfriend at the time. And I was sitting on my couch. We had one of those poofs where you put your feet on. She was in the she was in the spare room watching TV in there because I said it's a big game, Champions League semi-final, new camp. You know, second leg, we're 1-0 up. And everything fell apart. Cahill done his hamstring. John Terry got sent off. I said this the other night. We had a centre-back partnership with Jose Basingua and Ivanovic, with Ramirez playing right-back. He played right-back that game. And he literally just, honestly, when he made that run and he went through, I was sitting there on my couch, so I'm up. And when he scored, I was just banging on the poof. Come on! Oh, wifey, open the door. What, you shut up? I'm like, no! It was amazing. Just literally just to run as he did. Make that run. Great pass from Frank Lampard, by the way. Just made that run, and he just to have the composure, to look at Valdez, just chip him. Full pelt, Ramirez. Just to calm himself. Chip the goalkeeper. Brilliant. Outstanding. Giroud. Yeah, Giroud was underrated big time for his talent and his use of the ball, his hold-up play, his feet. Giroud, outstanding. Albert Ferrer. Chappie, that was his nickname, wasn't it? Brilliant player, Ferrer. Signed from Barcelona, didn't he? Brilliant player. Karma finally caught up with UEFA Loner. Zach, are you standing on a box saying all this? You're on your soapbox typing all this, bless him. Zach's got like a lot of frustration to get out. That Barca team, I believe, was the most terrifying team we've ever played. I don't know how we got through that. That was just one of those days where just everything went right for us, didn't it? We just knew it. And when Messi hit that penalty against the crossbar, that was brilliant. John Harley. Alonso, I do. I remember John Harley. How are you, Alonso? You good? Another underrated player from the day. JFH, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He got a lot of credit back in the day, didn't he, at the time? Zach's like, that's why I'm here. I've got friends sick and tired of listening to me. Zach's mates are sitting there looking at this thinking, thank God. Thank God. Torres goal, Neville's voice, exactly. Torres' goal was brilliant, wasn't it? It was amazing. Here's one. Torre Andre Flo. How about that? Underrated player. £330,000. Was it Tromso? I always say it. Heidegger Johnson, Torre Andre Flo. Let's think of other players. Other players that have been underrated for their contribution at Chelsea. What do you think of, in that Champions League winning season, Raul Meireles? What do you make of him in that season? Bear in mind he come from the dark side, the bin dippers. Torre Andre Flo, yeah, exactly, yeah. So Raul Meireles was decent for us, wasn't he? That goal he ran from the halfway line, just lumped it into the top corner. David Luiz. He made a good contribution to Chelsea, definitely. Do you think he's underrated? Do you think he got a lot of stick where it was a bit unfair, or was it because Gary Neville's watching him is like you're watching him on PlayStation football? That's what he said. Remember that. But David Luiz, when he was David Luiz. See, if you think of towards the end of the Chelsea time and that sort of stuff, and obviously he went to PSG and that sort of stuff, and yeah, he had his little moments and stuff like that. But when he first come back, David Luiz, he come back when Conte was manager, and he moved him into like a back three. And I remember Man City away, and he was just outstanding. He was outstanding. He could he could play in that role where the other two outside of him could do the man marking, and Luiz would just sweep. And David Luiz can see a game. He can read the game. And he was just, there he goes. You said it exactly right. Exactly what I'm saying. He was just brilliant player. Cahill. Exactly. Underrated Gary Cahill. Mikel Forsell. Super sub. Is that fair to say that? Think about some of these Chelsea players over the years. We said it the other night. Matic, another one. So in that Antonio Conte title-winning season, you had Cesc Fabregas making all the headlines, obviously, for his just outrageous passing ability. You had N'Golo Conte, and you had Matic. Yeah. He's not doing too bad, you've got to say at the moment, old Antonio Conte. Oh yeah, nothing put fear in me like a ball being played on top of Cahill. Yeah. Yeah. You're like, chase it down for God's sake. Right, people, I need 10 more likes for 100. Smash the like button for me. Welcome along to this stream. We're talking anything to do with Chelsea. Retro, Chelsea now. Paulo Ferreira, a bit underrated he was. Dale, you weren't here the other night, were you? We were talking about players that come to Chelsea and didn't really quite... Let's change it. Let's change the question. Here you go. Players with big reputations, hold on, that flattered to deceive. Juan Sebastian Veron for me. He was one. Deary me. He's got a great goal. He's got a great goal against the Bin Dippers. That's when that was in 2003, wasn't it? Was it 2002? I think it's 2003. Veron. Watching George Michael at Alonso running slow motion is my newest source of stress. Get well soon, Chile. Exactly. Lukaku. There you go. Ricky Carvalho, not by our fan base, but by the Premier League community. Shevchenko. So I'm talking about these big players that come into Chelsea, big reputations that didn't really quite cut it. Sheva takes a lot of stick, you know, but remember, when he played with Drogba had his best goal scoring season, which is what Lukaku's crying out for now. He's crying out for someone to play next to him. Because it was all about Drogba when Drogba played, but when you had Shevchenko next to him, defenders had to look at both of them and deal with both of them. And so it allowed some freedom for Drogba, and Drogba scored his 30-odd goals that season. Matthias Kesman, yeah, he was awful, wasn't he? George Weah, Torres. There's so many. Chris Sutton. Alvaro Morata. Big reputations. Let's think of big reputations. See, when you think about that, you're talking about... It always leads you to think about strikers, doesn't it? It's only midfielders, wingers that flatter to deceive. Gabriele Ambassetti, Higuain, see, another striker, another one. There's no midfielders or defenders. Stuffed. Paul's back. He's had his dinner. He's got back on. Good to see you back, mate. We're talking about players now with big reputations that flatter to deceive. And most of the chat is all about strikers. Yeah, Chris Sutton. Peter, how are you, mate? There you go. Blue Matter. Good for you. Ricardo Quaresma. Vinnie Jones. Quaresma. That's a great shout. Great shout. Some of these players. Oh, here we go. I'm going to change the question now. Chelsea players we have forgotten about. There you go. Chelsea players we've forgotten about. Players that don't really get a mention. Not if they're underrated or whatever, just the players that we forget about that didn't really put up any trees and made no real sort of impact. Danny Drinkwater, Danny D, Asia Del Horno, the one season wonder. Turkey have missed a penalty against Portugal. It's still 2-1. Hilario, Kesma, Pato. Yeah, Pato. Kike De Lucas. Remember him. Juan Cuadrado. Do you remember him? Remember when he played for us? And you look at him at Juve and think, what's happened there? Cuadrado. He just kept falling over, didn't he? Deco. Philippe Luis. See, this is good. Keep coming. Keep them coming. Keep these players coming. Players that we've forgotten about. Basingua. Forgetting about Basingua? Underrated, I think, Basingua. I have to give him that. Philippe Luis was just like... Philippe Luis didn't really sort of just take to the Premier League, did he? He's like Grealish, too worried about his hairband. Don't get me started on Grealish, by the way. I'm not having a Grealish night. Boharder, yeah, Winston Bohard. Bakayoko. Shout. What a shout that is, Zach, by the way. Tamuri Bakayoko, the one season wonder at Monaco, took the world by storm, played outstandingly well against Man City, and we're going to go and sign him. And look what happened. Dear me. He spent his life on loan, hasn't he, since he's been here? Schürrle, Andre Schürrle. Woodshedder? Bakayoko. Deary me. Well, he turned up with blue hair, didn't he? Good player, but one game wonder at Chelsea. But to me, it seemed like he was a one season wonder in the Champions League for Monaco. Bakayoko, what a shout that is, by the way. Here we go. On a sec, Khalid Boularus, the club shop favourite. How do you spell his name? B-O. Boularus. The top for me, one of the top player that was worse when I was in the Chelsea shirt. Slavica Djukanovic. And he wore number 10. And he was awful. Good manager. He was awful player. Honestly. You're just like, oh no. I tell you this. My mates wind me up, and they wind me up all the time about it. Gal Kakuta, Kesman. Now listen, right? So I'm a firm believer, and I'm quite staunch with this. When you sign players in the summer, you want to sign players that come in and give you instant competition for places, that basically put everybody that's in the squad already on their toes, that's in that position, and they think, I've got to work harder to keep my place in the team. That's my view. You sign players to enhance the competition and give the players that are currently in your team food for thought. They've got to butt their ideas up. Now, when Fernando Torres was struggling at Chelsea and Benitez was the manager, wasn't he? Stephen, how you doing, mate? We signed someone who was at Liverpool who would feed Fernando Torres regularly, and we signed him, and his name was Yossi Benayoun. And I couldn't stand him. When we signed him, I was livid. I was on a couple of beers with my mates, and I was going, how on earth is Yossi Benayoun competition for places in our current Chelsea squad? I was going right into one. So my mates now turn around and say, Yossi Magic and all this sort of nonsense just to wind me up. They used to do it at the time. But Benayoun, honestly, bloody Benayoun. Winston Bohard, exactly. Steve Sidwell, yeah. Scott Parker, another one. Craig Burley. Craig Burley is just honestly, wouldn't even listen to what he's got to say. Al's Toy Barn. What's that, Tom? You've lost me. Torres. I think all our flops did score goals. As a fan, I never dislike them. No, I know. The point is, what I'm saying about is players that sort of come in and flattered to deceive and were a little bit, rhetorical. How are you, mate? The news is the bids are being whittled down, apparently, down to a couple, and they're American. But it's not the Ricketts family. Anelka. Anelka did great for Chelsea. Brilliant player for us. Kesman's goal saved Chelsea. It did. So yes, the players we forget about, and we always sort of seem to remember the recent times. Benitez, honestly, couldn't stand it when he was our manager. My own personal opinion is the reason why Jose Mourinho come back for a second time and Abramovich brought him back was because of the reaction he got when he signed Benitez as our manager. After what he said about our supporters, Benitez, I stood up and I booed him in his first game as manager. I didn't want him. And I turned around to Abramovich and I said, get him out and all that stuff. And I think because of the reaction against Benitez, and remember that season, he tried to destroy John Terry's Chelsea career as well. Tosspot. Hate him, Benitez. Can't stand him. Benitez is a good manager when it comes to having a good squad. When he's got to try and work it out himself, he fails. Time and time again. Everton, Newcastle. What more can I say? Gets what he deserves. Hate the bloke. Can't stand him. Fabio Barini. Did well there when he left us. Went to Swansea. Did you go to Swansea? Went to the Bin Dippers. Been good, Man U. I kind of feel the Americans with Man U as a scale, but hey. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully not. Hopefully not, mate. Hopefully not. As long as they got the best interest for Chelsea at heart, that's the main thing. They want to maintain where we're at now and take us forward, develop the stadium. That's what we want to see. We do not want to see owners come in and look at our football club and our players as pound signs, try and rinse the arse out of it, make as much money as they can and then flog it. That's what we don't want. Injury time in the World Cup qualifiers. Italy, Macedonia is 0-0. Portugal, Turkey's 2-1. Sweden, Czech Republic 0-0. Wales 2, Austria 1. And the friendly Scotland are beating Poland 1-0. Forsell did well with Palace, yeah. Wayne Bridge, someone we've forgotten about. He weren't too bad, Wayne Bridge, was he? The Arsenal game against the Invincibles. And they were. Carl Magne. He was another one, wasn't he? Touted as a big player for the future. How about Robert Hoof? That's another one, Robert Hoof. Carlton Cole. Another one, see? Carlton Cole. One football icon on Sky One. He did, didn't he? Football icon on Sky One. Look what happened to him. He did. North Macedonia scored against Italy in the 93rd minute. Italy? European champions. What's the lineup for Italy? Donnarumma, Emerson, Bastoni, Mancini, Fionzi, Verratti, Jorginho, Barella, Insigne, Immobile and Berardi. And Macedonia just scored in injury time. That was a crossroads, but Arsenal went down and Chelsea up. Argon Robin, says Phantom. Who's that? Is that some sort of food outlet? But it's just lucky he's playing the same team as Ashley Cole, but it was good for us until JT came into it. Remember? Wayne Bridgewater's last meant so much, didn't it? One of the most important goals in Chelsea history. It was. And they were the Invincibles that season, but they lost to us in the Champions League. Dominic Solanke, and look what he's doing now, Solanke, at Bournemouth. Yeah, all right, it might be in the Championship. Solanke's scored a lot of good goals. He scored a great goal the other day. Alonso, who will Gallagher replace? Jorginho. For me, Jorginho. I think we need to be a dynamic midfield, and Jorginho's not dynamic at all. When I say dynamic, I mean can cover, defensive third, attacking third, and change in an instant defence into attack. Little shimmies, and you're gone. Conte does it, Kovacic does it, Loftus-Cheek does it, Jorginho doesn't. Zach. Last time Arsenal won the league, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and iPhones did not exist. Blackberries, baby. You used to have a Blackberry. Peter Shevchenko, he did save a goal line, but that was it. Gallagher will bring a lovely bit of energy. He will. As long as he doesn't keep doing this. Grealish style. Poland have equalised against Scotland in the 95th minute. So what is this then? This European Championship at the moment, is it a one-off game? Is it a one-off game? If it's a one-off game, because it looks as though Sweden and Czech Republic's gone to extra time. It must be. And Wales are beating Austria. 95th minute, still playing. Andre Schürrle, haha, Blackberry, says Paul. I used to have a Blackberry. I used to have the old, the original, remember the old original T-Mobile phone where it had like the little flip at the bottom, the plastic flip with the blue buttons and a little flip at the bottom. And you pull up the plastic thing. Deary me. First answer machine message I ever got on a mobile phone was somebody saying, "Hello, Dad, I'll be home soon. I'm just working late." And I was like, "What? Hey?" I'm like, it's not for me. Scott Sinclair, when we got him, I thought it'd be the next big thing. How wrong was you? Says Blues. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's all right. Sean Wright Phillips, SWP, says Tom. Put a great ball in for Crespo, didn't he, for that header? George Weir. Players we've forgotten about. What about some more defenders and midfielders? Emmanuel Petit. How about him? He played for us. Along with SIE. I'll never see him and Grace Jones in the same room, dear. That's what I'm saying. Be like Ryan and Clark and Giroud. Next time we see the advert, just cinched it. It's Giroud. Alex from Brazil, exactly. Ice cold. What a strike he had on him. Thunderbolt with the right foot, didn't he? Alex. It must be a one-off game. Wales have won. North Macedonia have knocked out Italy. Does that mean Italy don't qualify for the World Cup? European champions with their team of like decent as well. Portugal have beaten Turkey. Wales have beaten Austria, and Sweden and Czech Republic are going to go to extra time. Alexis Smirtin, great shout. Great shout, Alexis Smirtin. Rocky Rocastle. What a player he was. But he was a great player for us. His hair deserves a squad number in its own regard. Really? Petit? You reckon he's Barnett? No. Khalid Boularus. Ice cold. You have to check the spelling on that. I said that the other day. Imagine them being in the club shop. How many shirts he sold as a number 9? Boularus on the back. Someone on the old press put the numbers and the names on, going like Boularus, B-O. Michael Mancien, great shout, Tom. You're very knowledgeable, you guys. Carry on, keep going. So defenders and midfielders that we've forgotten about. Manish, Midfielder, yeah, he played for us, didn't he? Jeremy, we said the other day, Jeremy, who played right back for us. He was. Great attitude, Rocky. He did. Rocastle. 100%. Agree with that. Claudio Pizarro. It was another one where you just think, oh, he's toilet. But he keeps going. He keeps trying. We love a trier. He wasn't great, was he? Pizarro. We've had some strikers at our football club. My God. Dear me. Oh, come on. Midfielders and defenders. Goalkeepers as well. Tal Ben Hayim. At Bolton, he wore number 26. There's a rumour he asked John Terry for it when he turned up at Chelsea. Excuse me, John. I know you might be a legend at this football club, but I'd like to have your shirt number. Imagine it. Fuck, do one. Tal Ben Hayim. Brilliant. Franco Di Santo. He was another one. You made me laugh, Tom. I'm laughing at myself as well. Scott Parker. Yeah. See, the thing is, you think Scott Parker and Scott Parker turned up as like a defensive-minded midfielder, and he turned up when we had Makalele. Scott Parker, Makalele. I think I'll go Makalele. Jason, how are you, mate? Yeah, good. We're talking about players we do forget, not the ones that we don't. Thank you for the contribution anyway, mate. Ice cold. Celestine Baba Yaro. Yeah. Great. He did a sterling job for us over a number of years. Baba Yaro. 2 more likes for 100. Smash the like button for me, people. Super Dan Petrescu. A couple of seasons back, they did a charity game where we played Inter Milan's legends and the Chelsea legends, and Dan Petrescu turned up like a crisp packet. It was massive. Just like square he was. They played the ball in front of him. He played right wing. They played the ball in front of him, 10 yards in front of him. You should have seen him trying to run for it. It was awful. It might be the most corrupt thing Roman ever did was bring in Ben Hayim and Ben Ayoun. Yossi Ben Ayoun. Honestly. I was livid. I was like, how on earth is he going to give us competition for places? He's shit. Honestly, my mates were laughing at me, going, calm down. I go, no, he's funny. I got right into one. And after that, every time he touched the ball, played a good pass, they go to me, that's Yossi magic. And he used to wind me up every time. Even now and again, they might come up with the old Yossi magic as well, but I try to ignore it. Oh, dearie me. Let's think some more of these midfielders and defenders over the years that we've forgotten about. I mean, going back a bit, Tony Dorigo, fullbacks, Dorigo. God dear. Yeah, we said about Joey Jones. Joey Jones, another one, back in the day. Mickey Thomas. Peter Rhodes Brown, remember him back in the 80s? What else have we got here? Radamel Falcao. There's another one, wasn't he? Another one. Another striker that just thought, oh, I could turn up. I could be a Drogba. No. Sorry, Radamel. Bye-bye. You're going back to Man United. Deary me. Sam Sidwell, yeah. Steve Sidwell. Wingers. What about wingers? So wingers that we had at our club that we tend to forget about. So think for the 90s. Yeah, Charisma. Damo. There you go. Dara's turned up. He's got straight in there with a classic. With a great shout. Marco Marin. The German Messi. You're like, it's a German Messi. It'd be great. After 10 minutes, you're like, no, he's not. He's not at all, is he? He's not a German Messi whatsoever. He's an average football player. Has he done anything ever since he left Chelsea? Has he pulled up any trees anywhere else? I'm not sure he has. German Messi, here he comes. Oh, no, he's not, is he? Duffer. Brilliant, Damien Duff. Underrated for me. He'd be classed as one of the underrated players, Damien Duff. His contribution to Chelsea, he loved it at Chelsea, was just outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. That combination of him and Iron Robin was just different class. Alex. AO follow LG50, how are you? Good to see you in. Yeah, we mentioned about Alex, players that we've forgotten about over the years. I'm going to have to go on the old Google, aren't I? Masonda. Yeah, Masonda. There's a rumour that Jose's in for him, isn't he, at Roma. Here we go. Let's go into the Google. Let's talk to the internet, shall we? And find out. Hold on. Chelsea players. Here we go. Let's go. Former Chelsea players. There you go. Let's bring some key. Oh, we've got key former players on the Chelsea website. Demba Ba. There you go. Great shout. So, key Chelsea players on the website: Ken Armstrong, Roy Bentley, Frank Brunstone, Peter Bonetti, John Bumstead, Gary Cahill, Paul Canaville, Ricardo Carvalho, Peter Cech, Stevie Clark, Yuri Zirkov. Great shout, Tom. Jack Cock, Ashley Cole, Joe Cole, Charlie Cook, Carlo Cudicini, Desailly, Roberto Di Matteo, Kerry Dixon, Didier Drogba, Paulo Ferreira, Torre Andre Flo, William Falk, Hughie Gallagher, Ed De Hoy, Jimmy Greaves, Idiger Johnson, Rudd Gullett, bless him, Rudy, Ron Harris, Jack Harrow, JFH, Eden Hazard, George Hildson, John Hollins, Alan Hudson, Mark Hughes. People forget about Mark Hughes, don't they? Didier Deschamps. Yeah. The water carrier. Ivanovic, Lampard, Tommy Law, Giuliano Belletti. Great shout. LeBoeuf, Lasso, Graham Lasso. Another one we've forgotten about. Makaleli, Eddie McCready, George Mills, Pat Nevin. Pat Nevin. People don't remember him. Eddie Newton. There's another one. Steady Eddie. Oscar, Giuliano Belletti. Scored some great goals, Belletti, didn't he? Jody Morris. Peter Osgood, Eric Parsons, Gustavo Poyet. Oh. Poyet. Until he left to go to the dark side. Poyet was different class. And I keep saying it. Dubry, great shout, Alonso. I keep saying it on my channel on here about Poyet. When he left, it's like, who's going to score goals from midfield for us? Mr. Lampard turned up. Didn't work. Wasn't too bad. Peter, goodbye, mate. Frank Lampard, Tommy Lawton, Frank LeBoeuf, Graham Lasso, as I said, Makaleli. Let's keep going. Pat Nevin, Eddie Newton. There's Resky, the goalkeeper. Colin Pates, Dan Petrescu, Ian Robin, David Speedy, John Terry, Venables, Gianluca Vialli, Clive Walker, Tommy Walker, David Webb, Ray Wilkins, Andy Wilson, Jimmy Windridge, Dennis Wise. These are key players listed on the Chelsea website. There we go, Wikipedia. I'll be here for all night. List of players. Let me go down to where I can recognise. Hold on, got to keep going. I'm through the 50s, 70s. Right, here we go. Let me find some names here. Let's find some names. Spatman, Nigel Spatman, midfield. Bjarne Goldbeck, great shout. Ed De Hoy. Gordon Jury, Kevin Wilson. Ken Moncal, remember him? Hazard or Zola? Oh, that's a good one. I'll put that up. Here we go. Question. Hazard or Zola? Mark Bosnich. There we go. Hazard or Zola? There's the question. John Spencer we've forgotten about, by the way. Mario Melchiot, another one. Who else have we forgotten about? Have we not mentioned in the chat tonight? SCN, Malouda, Mata, Victor Moses. Some players there, innit? Call it a tie. Zola all day long, Zola. I think it's different times, wasn't it? Zola and then Hazard. Everyone loves Zola. Zola was just the best thing to happen to Chelsea when he turned up. But it was a different time. And the reason I say it's a different time and how the argument can be a little bit different, it's like telling me, I asked the other night, Makelele or Conte. Different time. Different time. Schmeichel Nutmeg, exactly, yeah. The problem is back then, there was only a couple of big teams, wasn't there? So Zola against the big teams, the rest of the Premier League, and that wasn't as strong as it is now. Dennis Wise for you. Yeah. So, just different times. Well, a new question now, A04LG50. We're now on Hazard or Zola. Yeah, very different times. The point is that, yeah, so when Eden Hazard, look at Hazard at Chelsea, the Premier League and the investment in the clubs and the money they've got, the teams around the league are a lot stronger now. Back then they weren't as strong. But, I mean, God-given ability, it's got to be Zola. I'd say it's got to be Zola for what he did, and it's just the influence he had on our football club. That goal in the semi-final against Wimbledon, were played at Highbury back then, when they played the ball up to him, and on the edge of the box, he took one touch, stopped the ball dead, spun the other way and turned the defender inside out and pinned it down to the bottom corner. It was one of the best goals I've ever seen. And obviously the back flick against Norwich from the corner flag. Hazard. Just hasn't worked out for him, has it? Eden Hazard. We've got a couple of minutes before I'm going to finish up. Just 5 more minutes or so. We'll carry on. Wayne Bridge. he's still naming players here. AO4 LG50. Good for you. Good for you. You carry on. Wayne Bridge. The stream will finish. He's on the chat going there. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. It's all good. I appreciate everyone putting their comments on and joining this stream, which is really, really, really appreciated. 1,500 views, which is not too bad. Yeah, Blues in the 90s, most of the Premier League teams had a talented maestro. Football seems more basic and tactical now. Yeah, Zola's goal against Norwich. Terence says Hazard. Yeah, there was a rumor that Hazard on loan, wasn't it? Coming back to Chelsea. Oh. Robin Prime or Hazard Prime? Alonso, good question. There you go. Over to you in the chat. In their primes, Arjen Robben or Eden Hazard? God, dearie me. That's a good question. Good question. For me, Arjen Robben was outstanding for Chelsea. His pace, his ability was great. The only thing I'd say about Arjen Robben, and up until when he finished, he was a bit of a one-trick pony, wasn't he? He'd have a lot of pace, but he wouldn't. Meanwhile, Missy Batshuayi, he'd always favour his left foot. So if you're playing on the right-hand side, Robben, you always knew he was going to come inside and play on that left foot and try and just float it to the far corner. That's what he did, Robben. Maybe it's a bit unfair to say he's a bit of a one-trick pony, but you know what I'm trying to say? He always favoured his left foot. And his pace, people couldn't deal with him, where Eden Hazard is just totally different. Eden Hazard could do everything. Left foot, right foot. He could dribble through walls. He could hit it from distance. Didn't just rely on one foot. I was watching Chelsea put up on their Twitter, was it yesterday or today, about Hazard and favourite moments and stuff like that, which is a bit unusual. Maybe that might be a bit of an indicator as to why these rumours about Hazard are going about at the minute. But they showed that goal in the League Cup against Liverpool, where he come on as a second half substitute, and he collected the ball midfield. He nutmegged Firmino, played it out to the wing, and he went and collected it, and he just come inside on his right foot, then flicked it in between the defender, run onto it, and just blasted it into the corner past Mignolet. Brilliant goal that was, absolutely brilliant. Paul, and you, mate, you take care. Robin looked for fouls by diving Hazard, got brought down because he was too hot to handle. Exactly. And this is what I keep saying about bloody Jack Grealish. Hazard used to get fouled like legitimately every single time. He never used to dive. He used to get fouled and taken out. Whereas Grealish looks for it and falls over. Pot Grealish. Silly, what's my favourite position football-wise? My favourite position football-wise, I say centre midfield. Because you can dictate the game. You can have a real influence on that position. You can get forward, you can defend. You can be the pivot and pivotal to what happens in the football on the pitch. I.e., says Fabregas. Hazard cemented at this club as one of the greats. What a farewell game against Arsenal. 2 goals and assists, exactly. Goals magic. Exactly. He got kicked to pieces, never took a dive. Never ever took a dive, Hazard. Whereas Jack Grealish looks for someone to follow him, then falls over. Or he's always on his way down already, making sure his hair's all right and his hair bad. Don't get me started on Grealish. Hate Grealish. Ugh. Him and bloody Teeth over at Old Trafford. Bruno Teeth Fernandes. That thing about your eyes are off, so your teeth are offside. Bruno Fernandes, your teeth are offside. 69. What's that all about? Blues? I'm hoping I'm not going to get a dodgy answer. So Sweden, Czech Republic is extra time, half time and extra time, and it's still 0-0. Enthralling game, that one. Diego Costa. What a player he was. Diego Costa, in my opinion, is the closest you're ever going to get to Didier Drogba. The closest you're ever going to get. Now, I'm of the opinion that old matey over at, what's his face? Fulham, up front. What's his name? It's just, my mind's gone completely blank. The one scoring all the goals at the minute. Oh, God, what's his name? Put it in the chat for me. Help me out. Hold on. Fulham striker. Mitrovic. There you go. See, I think Mitrovic has got that about him. As in, he can bully defenders, he can hold the ball up, he can win headers. He's just not very pacey. But he's only, 26, 27? Scored a bag full of goals in the Championship. Scott Parker won't play him in the Premier League, which is really weird. And they're going to come straight back up again, Fulham. And if they see if Silva plays him in the Premier League next season, see how well he does. But I think Mitrovic has got the Drogba Costas about him up front. Yeah, he would. Costa would grow a full beard by half time. Tyrannos Fernandez Rex. Yeah. Alonso would take Pogba on a free big time, and I'll play him on the left of a midfield free. Box to box. Meanwhile, Sean Wright Phillips. But yes, definitely. So guys, it's 10 o'clock. We've been on for a couple of hours. I'm going to call it there because I've got some things to do. But just to say thank you, every single one of you, for joining in for 2 hours. Talking Chelsea, talking all sorts of Chelsea. Thank you for your contributions and the super chats. Thank you for hitting the like button. And Timo Pukki over Lukaku. He's a goal scorer. That's what you want. So guys, yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate it. If you haven't smashed that like button, hit it for me. And thanks. Thank you very much. Make sure you share the content around your social media. Get more people involved. And thank you so much for joining. So have a good rest of your evening. Hopefully I'll get a video done for tomorrow. And then I'm away for 2 weeks on holiday. So guys, take care of yourselves. Look after yourselves. Thanks for being here. It's appreciated. And I'll see you soon. Up the Chels.